Hello and welcome to my video series called C# for RPA Developers. In this video series, I will be sharing my C# knowledge with you RPA developers. The reason I'm making these videos is there are a lot of resources on learning C# and a lot of resources on learning RPA topics, but there are not many material on using C# in RPA development and some RPA specific C# topics. After completing these videos, you will be able to write the necessary level of C# code in your RPA platforms, and you will master the manipulation of data in your RPA projects, like text, numbers, data tables, etc. Apologies in advance if my sound or video quality is not very well. I am making these videos on my personal simple setup and I don't own stuff like high quality microphones. I develop processes on both Blue Prism and UiPath, but I am making these videos on Blue Prism because my knowledge of Blue Prism is way better than of UiPath. This does not mean that these videos are too specific on Blue Prism. There are a couple of subjects that are too specific to Blue Prism, but 99% of this information that I'm about to share with you can be used on any RPA platform that allows you to write C# codes. In the future, I am planning on making these videos again in UiPath as well, as I progress better in UiPath. Let's start with what is C#. C# is a powerful programming language with which you can develop programs that can run on different platforms such as Windows, Mac or Linux. Most RPA platforms like Blue Prism and UiPath allow you to write C# code in your RPA projects. C# is an easy to learn and read language I am sure you will have a lot of fun working with. C# is an object-oriented programming language. What this means is you create objects that belongs to a class, and your objects has properties that is inherited from that certain class. Honestly, these topics are too advanced for RPA curriculum, therefore we are not going to go into too much detail. If you are curious about it, you can always research what object-oriented programming means and what are the other types of programming languages. Let's give you an example of what an object-oriented programming language is like. As you can see, there are various types of vehicles in the following diagram. So top speed, for example, can be a property for each vehicle here. If you can designate a class of objects named wheeled vehicles, then you can get a little bit more specific on your vehicle objects. An object that belongs to the wheeled vehicles could have a property of wheel size, but same thing cannot be said about, let's say, all vehicles, because as you can see, the boat is also a vehicle and it does not have any wheels. Object-oriented programming languages have this approach in their core. Why should we learn C# in the first place? Learning C# allows you to broaden your capabilities in RPA development greatly. You can manipulate any type of data in your robotic processes like texts, numbers with decimal places, date time values, integer numbers, collections of data like data tables, and so on. It is certain that the RPA platform you are using can also do most of these things. I personally experienced that sometimes writing 10 lines of code can allow you to do the same things much faster and easier. You can also use C# to interact with your computer. In one of my RPA projects, I had this application that I was scripting, and this application would open under two different task names. Normally, you will designate the window title and application.exe name in Blue Prism to attach your application, but there was two different possible application names at any given time. How I tackled this problem is I found a simple code on the internet that gives you the list of open tasks, just like the list you will get on the task manager, and that allowed me to dynamically change the process name variable in my attach action. Another example was that one of the applications in my organization loaded differently depending on the keyboard language. Things like button texts, error messages, informative text on the application were loading in that particular language. What we did is we found a simple code that allowed us to set or get the active keyboard language on the runtime machine, so that way we will not have to develop the same script again from scratch or get exceptions because of that language setting problem. I also give this example on this topic, why an RPA developer should learn to code. Imagine going to a store and buying a set of Legos for building things. Sure, you will get various parts with different shapes and sizes, and you can build various different things such using those blocks. Now imagine having a 3D printer and being able to design your own custom parts. With the 3D printer, there is almost no limit to what you can build. Only limit is your imagination. When technical architects install an RPA platform on your organization, they give you these building blocks that can cover a lot of your requirements. You can build various things with the libraries provided with your installation. If you can learn to code, that way you can develop processes, reusable components that are specific to your needs, and even add some functionalities to the existing libraries that came with your RPA platform. You may ask, Visual Basic is also an alternative. Do I have to learn C# specifically? Answer is no. Of course you can learn Visual Basics too. As far as I know, there are no differences when doing the same thing with C# or Visual Basic. Most of the RPA platforms like Blue Prism and UiPath support both languages and give you the option of choosing one of them. Which one you want to focus I think should be determined by what you are most comfortable with. First programming languages I learned was Java back in my engineering program, and I am very familiar with the syntax of Java. Therefore, I learned C# very easily. I still struggle writing simple Visual Basic code because its syntax feels very different to me. However, I must say that perfecting your Visual Basic knowledge has some substantial benefits. If you opened and inspected business objects in Blue Prism, like MS Outlook, MS Excel, or MS Word, all those business objects are written in Visual Basic. If you are good with VB, then you can edit or broaden those libraries with new actions. So what programs do I have to install to learn C#? Do I really need an IDE? Well, no. We are going to mostly use our RPA platforms to code, and in some cases we will use an online compiler like .NET Fiddle. Writing code in an IDE like Visual Studio, then copying the code to RPA platform can be frustrating. There are actually no prerequisites for these lectures. You don't have to have a background in software development. Only prerequisite is to be curious and interested. Of course, C# is a vast subject, and you can do a lot of things with C# programming language, but what we need to learn in order to develop RPA processes is a portion of C#, and we will try to keep things as simple as possible. If you have any prior knowledge of programming, maybe with an object-oriented programming language, that is a plus, but like I said, it's not an issue if you don't have any programming language. That's all for today's video. See you in the next video. Bye bye.